Hello there. Today I am going to do my first video with my iPad, which I am hoping is going to stay absolutely focused for us. And I hope the lighting is good. I'm doing all this out of my RV, so it's very challenging. Today we have the mini coffee cup holder die, and this coordinates with the mini coffee cover die for the mini coffee cups. You'll see what it looks like when we're all done. The die comes with your main base die that does all of the cutting and scoring for you. It has an optional layering die included, and then 4 decorative label dies. And I'll show you where those go here in just a little bit. Move these all aside. Now when I prototyped this die with the factory, they didn't understand that I wanted the circle connected to the middle. So what they did is they sent me one for my prototype that didn't have it connected in the middle. Let me turn it around this way. I don't know why, but that's just the way I orient it. So what I did was, I am really cheap and I had already paid for the prototypes and it still could work, so I just manipulated it and fixed it with some cardstock. So I'm going to use mine instead of a new one, which I hopefully will be sending out to a happy, excited customer soon. I'm going to use a printed paper today, and what I've done is I have laid the die on the paper so that I will end up with a centered pattern, hopefully. It looks like I'm a little bit off, so I definitely want to line on this side. Doesn't have to be perfect. Now I don't want to tape my die down to the print on the paper because I could accidentally tear the print off of the paper if my tape is too sticky. So I'm going to flip it over. Move that white so you can see it. And I'm going to tape to the back side of it. So what I'm using is stencil tape. And stencil tape is for wall decor, so it's slightly less tacky, but you still want to de-tack the tape a little bit. And then I'm not going to tape to my white center cardstock, which is where I would normally tape if this were actually the metal, but I don't want to tear that. Alright, so now you'll notice that this die is too long for the standard cutting pads. It's not going to fit one way or another. It's going to be too short. So you don't have to run out and buy the extended cutting pads. All you have to do is cut half of it, rotate it, and then cut the other half. Now that is why I'm taping it down so that it doesn't move. So I'm going to sandwich this in here, and of course I have to turn it around to run it through my machine. I'm using the Vagabond from Tim Holtz. So it's electric. It's going to make some noise here off camera. And I don't have a lot of room, so I'm going to run it in reverse, and I love this about the machine. It brings it back to my side of the table. Alright. So now what we have here is we have cut half of it, or a little more. So what I need to do now, it was laying on here, well, my circle's cut. It was laying on here like this, so now all I have to do is rotate it around, lay the uncut portion on the pads, sandwich it, and run it back through. Again, I'm going to reverse it back towards me. That is one of the things I love about the Vagabond. This is the Generation 1. I haven't worn it out yet, so I don't need the Generation 2 yet. Alright, so here's our leftover paper, and here's our cut piece. And we'll just pop this. I know the white on white is a little harder to see. It would be easier if it was the green. Okay, so there is our cut and scored holder unassembled. Now, all the patterns that were out there, and yes, I didn't come up with this idea to make this holder. I'm not sure who originated it, but bless them, it's an awesome idea. I just decided that I was too lazy to cut them, and so I must make a die. But I moved the tabs from the end to the center because when you fold your paper, most of it being like a one-directional paper, if you folded it with the other pattern and the tabs are at the end, what you would end up with, this would actually come around the bottom, is that part of your pattern would be upside down and part of your pattern would be right side up. And I didn't care for that. So by moving it to the middle, that enables us to kind of go in a Z like that. You can see it. And so that enables us to do those single direction papers and be able to keep the pattern coherent. So all of it is scored. And if you just start to fold it, it's going to automatically fold. Now you can cut 2 layers of cardstock at one time if it's not too heavy. So I can make 2 of these holders at one time by running them through the machine one time. With the mini coffee cover die for the cups, you can actually cut 6 decorator paper ones at one time. Alright, so this would then, I guess I ought to fold the tab here. Now there is another score line right up here. I'm going to show you something with that. So this would fold around like this. And I could cut the tab here, or I mean, fold the tab here, and I could tuck it under and glue it or tape it here, like that. But I don't really feel the need to do that, so I leave mine flat and I just tape it straight up the back here. Sorry, these little boxes are always so wonky to try to demonstrate, but so I would tape it up the back. It gives it just a little bit more stability back here. But I don't like this being plain. I mean, technically, once I taped it together, this would be the finished holder for the cup, and I don't have a Valentine's Day cup. I have a Christmas cup. But you can see how the cup sits down inside the holder. However, I think this is kind of first floppy and also just a little bit plain. So I'm going to show you how you can use your die to make your back layer to go with that. We're just going to take the die and we're going to take the leftover part of the paper that I had, and I can try and center the pattern on the back, and it looks like if I align it with this edge over here, it will be center. So that being said, I'm going to flip them both over, and I have a little bit of a white strip at the top because I printed this paper on my printer. So I'm just going to align it with the edge like that. Now I'm going to make the noise and run it through the machine. And I'm only going until I'm past just that little top edge. I could have trimmed off the cardstock first, potentially, and saved a little bit of paper maybe. Alright, so when I get to here, see the crease line? That's where I'm going to chop it off with my scissors. So, I'm going to cut it off a little bit longer just so I can work with it. Alright, and if you are neurotic as I am, you can see I still didn't get those little tabs perfect. I'm just going to put that edge on my trimmer here. And I'm just going to make that a bit more perfect. Let me get my scraps out of the way. So now this piece, oops, there's the pattern, if you actually want to see the pattern. This piece would then go on the back part of that flap, and then that's going to give it a nice finished backside. And I would put the flap, this part, in between that cover piece, and that just gives it some reinforcement. Okay, now if you wanted to turn this into a gift card holder, let me show you how to do that, and I'll show you what these little decorative border, or I don't know why I can't remember that word today, label. There we go. Thank you, Julia. Alright, so the little decorative labels that are included are just accents. Just, you can put, you know, across here you could stamp little words. I might make a set of little stamps that fit perfectly on the labels. I don't know yet. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it up across here, and I'm going to use it to hold a gift card. So let me show you how I will do that. We'll set this aside. And I can go ahead and I'll tape this together here. It might make it a little bit easier for us. Grab my paper. What in the world did I do with my paper? Well, I'm just going to do it right on here with my tape. So I'm going to take my tape runner and I'm going to run here, here, here. And if you happen to get a little bit extra of this plus tape on your work surface, it just rubs right off. But it does hold it perfectly in place for gluing things. So I do like that tape for that reason, amongst others. Alright, so line up and tuck this edge. And if you are the kind that likes to burnish it with a bone folder, you can certainly do that. Alright. And you can still reach inside the box because of the hole where the cup goes, so that's kind of handy. I'll tuck this little guy down. Oops, I'm off camera. I apologize. Kind of takes a little bit of practice, and I haven't assembled a ton of these. I did to test it out, but not completely here. And I usually use a wet glue when I am gluing things. So I'm going to sit it down, and I'm just rubbing my finger along the edge because I can feel when it's flush. Then I can press down with my fingers inside here. However you can make your fingers work to make it stick is good. Maybe put the bone folder in there and burnish it a little bit. Alright, so technically, and I would have put tape on here, technically this is held in place, and that is your little holder for your cup. Okay, so to make this a gift card holder, what I've done is I've cut a strip. This is less probably than 1/8 of an inch. I just cut a little strip off of it. And you're just simply going to fold it around here. Okay. And I've got it a little bit long on that one edge. Doesn't have to be in the dead center. So what I'm going to do is trim that off. And I know white on white it's hard to see things here. So a little bit of tape here on the end, or glue if you use glue. And I'll put this back on. Okay, and then line those two up and just stick it down. Okay, so that's going to put our little holder for our gift card. I don't have a regular gift card. I have a Subway or a Safeway card. So you can see your card would sit right in there. Now if you want to hold this in place so that it doesn't move while you assemble it, go ahead and lay this down. Put a little bit of tape here. Slide this up where you would like it. Maybe make sure it's somewhat level. Maybe if I drank more coffee, my hands would be more steady. I don't know. Alright, so there's that on there. Then to conceal it, we're going to take our back panel. Let me run my tape around the edges here. Alright, rub off any extra. And now I'm going to just line up my panels. I think I do things, oops, it stuck to me, more by feel than by look. You can feel the edges there. Stick that down. And I should have glued down that little panel inside. Apologize for forgetting that. We'll press that down. Okay, then this little label, which I can never pick up off the table. Let's see. Need a little scrap of paper here. Oh. Just going to use, here we'll use the circle that came out of the middle. So just to protect the backing, just going to put a strip of the tape runner there. And then this would have words on it, potentially, or whatnot. Move it, get it straight-ish. Whoops. Isn't that the way it always is? You gotta stick it down and it moves first. Then you squish it in place and it's not quite where it belongs. Okay. Then our gift card is held in there like that. So, if anybody shops at Safeway and you want to type in my Safeway card number so I get bonuses and benefits and you get discounts, that's great. Alright, so that, and then we'll pretend that this is a cup for the correct holiday. The cup goes in there. You could make 2 of these holders and place them back to back with each other and have the little 2 holder. You would want to probably put chipboard on the bottom to reinforce it. But that is the mini coffee cup holder die, brand new by the Stamp Doctor, and you can find it at thestampdoctor.com. Thank you for joining me today. Hope you have a wonderful time.